Events in Ukraine have been unfolding at an astounding rate, which in a way makes it pretty difficult for me to talk about the situation, because my videos will be outdated in just a few hours. So yeah, we've all heard about it. Unfortunately, Vladimir's regime has invaded Ukraine, which very clearly paints the Russian government as the aggressor here. While I would certainly love to talk all day about Vladimir's hypocrisy, we have to shift our focus towards Belarus. As you may have heard already, Belarus is keen on helping Russia host nuclear warheads on the territory, and I feel like I really need to shed some light into Belarus, because I feel like the guy running the country betrayed Ukraine just as much as Russia did. If you haven't heard much about Belarus, I don't really blame you. It only became a country back in 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed. Alexander Lukashenko, the so-called president of Belarus, has been serving terms since 1994. Though I think a more appropriate term might be dictator. Because while Belarus does have multiple parties that may partake in elections, the legitimacy of the former are very questionable. Either way, he doesn't really have much of a problem admitting he's a dictator.
Как вы понимаете демократию по-белорусски?
Вы знаете, я же диктатор, мне трудно понимать демократию. Но это один из элементов демократии. Дисциплина. Смотрим в одну сторону, двигаемся в одну сторону с разными мнениями, но определяемся и двигаемся, чтобы двигаться вперед.
You might have heard about this back in 2020. In August of that year, massive protests were held by the Belarusian people, who were discontent with the illegitimacy of the presidential results. People were being incarcerated for opposing the government, which is really sad and unfair. Which, again, goes to show that the actions taken by Belarus to aid Russia in invading Ukraine stem from the government and in no way reflect the will of the real people, which the government is supposed to represent, but they don't really care. While the rest of Europe was busy modernizing, Lukashenko just didn't really want to let go of Belarus's former Soviet past, despite how terrible it was. After all, the only one who's going to sponsor a dictator is another dictator. And that's why Russia and Belarus are allies. The Russian invasion of Ukraine was unjustified, and it's really horrendous to think that Belarus would go along with Vladimir's agenda. If Ukraine left the USSR in the first place, I guess we could say it was for a very good reason. And I think it's very ironic how two former Soviet republics are conspiring against Ukraine, who was also a Soviet republic at one point. I mean, sure, nothing says I love you like invading your country and bombing civilian cities. Considering Ukraine's political geography, the capital was pretty far away from its border with Russia, but thanks to Lukashenko's disregard for Ukrainian sovereignty, he has allowed Russian troops to march through Belarus to Ukraine. And now Ukraine is forced to fight on a war with multiple fronts. And what really sucks about this is that the capital of Ukraine was very much exposed thanks to this, making it a very easy target for Russian attacks in the future. Well, he's a dictator. He doesn't really care about the well-being of regular people. He pretty much knows that the only government that is going to support him is the Kremlin, because they're still paranoid about, quote, Western imperialism. Yeah, how ironic that is. But hey, if everything goes according to plan, Lukashenko is going to be rewarded very handsomely by Vladimir.
На погону.
Я подполковник по званию, я же не могу себе генералиссимуса звезду повесить или генеральскую. Путин полковник обещал мне полковника присвоить. До сих пор не присвоил.
Ну, полковника кого может присвоить Путин?
Российской армии.
Ну как вы себе представляете, что президент независимой Беларуси является полковником российской армии?
Ну и что? Это же моя проблема, а не ваша.
Подождите.
Пообещал, делай.
Но вы же в российской армии-то и не служили, вы же служили в советской армии.
Советская, она была и российская, и белорусская.
Конечно.
Присвой мне звание полковника советской армии.
Но советская тоже не может, потому что тогда будут говорить, вот мы говорили, что Путин хочет восстановить Советский Союз.
Ну хорошо.
Вот.
Ну и что, пусть хочет, и что?
Ну
что тут такого?
Не, ну,
а что ему
красивая идея.
запретить желать?
А затем То есть вы хотите, чтобы полковник Путин вам присвоил звание полковника и было два
Нет,
полковника?
президент Путин.
Да, ну то есть будет два полковника во главе России и Беларуси.
Мы ему потом присвоим звание генерала.
I don't really know what to feel about this guy because he sounds kinda serious, but at the same time he kinda makes me laugh.
Может присвоить Путин.
Российская армия.
In a way, though it's a real shame people are gonna be stuck with him. Lukashenko is as much a war criminal as Putin is. I think Belarus is what the president of Russia wants Ukraine to become. A puppet state, if you will. Doing whatever the president of Russia wants them to do. Which is essentially to be part of Russia by all means necessary. But anyway, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I'll see you next time.